Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a controversial video. I'm going to be talking about all of the series that I have started but don't plan on finishing. Alright guys, so before we jump into this video, I just want to say that reading is subjective. Just because I was not a fan of these books does not mean that you won't absolutely adore them. So just know that going in, this is just my personal opinion. So definitely, if you're interested in these books, I would still check them out. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram. It is linked down in the description below. And with that, let's get into this list. Okay guys, so I'm going to break this down by genre. So we're going to start off with YA fantasy. This first book I have mentioned in many videos at length, so I'm just going to touch on it very briefly. And that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kemmerer. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling and also a portal fantasy following a prince that is cursed to turn into a beast and attack his people. And in order to break the curse, he has to find his one true love. And his friend is able to travel to different worlds via a portal in order to do that. And our main character is Harper, and she is the one that is kidnapped and brought to the prince in order to break the curse. And there were elements and aspects of this book that I did enjoy. I thought the overall story was interesting. It's just been so overdone, the whole Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. I just didn't believe the romance going on. I think there was supposed to be a love triangle in this, and they all just kind of seemed like friends. I just didn't feel very immersed in this whole world. And after I finished it, I had no interest in reading the second book, which honestly might have been a blessing in disguise because a lot of people were not crazy about the second book and how the series concluded overall. So I might have dodged a bullet there. However, if you are a fan of Beauty and the Beast retellings, I would check this one out. There are people that still absolutely adore it. Personally, it just wasn't for me. Next up, we have a very beloved YA fantasy series that I wanted to like so much and I've tried to get into, and it's just not my thing. And that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Many people have told me to read this, and honestly, the entire synopsis seems like something that I would really enjoy. A lot of people know about this book, but overall, I just couldn't get into it, and I can't even pinpoint what about it I didn't like. Like, I finished it, I thought this story was interesting, I loved the magic system, and I liked the main character. I don't know, it just wasn't for me, so I will not be continuing with this series. However, I have heard that the Dark Artifacts series, which is, I thought you had to read both of them, apparently you don't. So I will still be checking that out, and I think I might have better luck with that series in the future, but the Mortal Instruments, it's not for me. And next up is another very popular series that I went in just expecting to love, and I thought it was fine. And honestly, I did finish this series, but there is a fourth book that was released that I will 100% not be picking up just because I have absolutely no interest, and that is The Cruel Prince. So, like I said, I did finish this. This follows Jude, who ends up being a human girl who goes to live in the Fae lands where she has to deal with all of these fairies or these Fae, and they have the whole trickster element where they can't lie, but you have to interpret everything they say because they can trick you very easily. And I did like that aspect of the book. However, I hated the romance, Carden and Jude. I just did not believe that. I didn't like Jude very much as a character, and I also didn't really care for Carden. And the first book, like I said, it was all right. It was an interesting introduction into the world, although I didn't really enjoy it. However, I did enjoy it enough to read the second book, which I did really actually like. I liked the second book a lot. I think that they did very well with the whole politics and trying to figure out the double meanings with the Fae characters. I thought that was interesting. And then the third book just went off the rails, and I don't know what was going on with that ending. I thought it was absolutely terrible. Sorry if you disagree with me. You can let me know in the comments, but personally, I hated Queen of Nothing. Oh my gosh, that was one of the worst conclusions of a series. But I believe she came out with a book, The King of Elfheim, which is going to be some sort of companion novel. And like I said, I just have no interest in looking into that. I don't need any more of that story, any more of that world. However, I will be giving Holly Black another chance. There are a few books she's released that do sound very interesting. So we will see. I might like more of her works, but overall, the Cruel Prince series was a no for me. And last up in YA fantasy is a book that I actually enjoyed the first time I read it when I was much younger. However, now as an adult, I just can't get through it. I think it has a lot to do with the angst, and also the formatting of the book is a little weird for those of you who have read it. Not weird, it's just different. And that is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. So this follows a girl who's training to become an assassin at this very dark academy. And like I said, when I was younger and I read this, I did enjoy it a little bit more. However, trying to read it now as an adult so I can continue on with the series, it's just not connecting with me. The footnotes at the bottom are a little distracting sometimes, and I'm not a huge fan of the way this book is written. However, I am currently almost finished reading Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff, which I was very hesitant to start because, like I said, wasn't crazy about Nevernight. Empire the Vampire is absolutely amazing, and somehow it still feels similar to Nevernight in the writing, just almost more, not eloquent, just feels similar but also different in a really good way, and I'm really enjoying it. And Empire the Vampire will be featured, I believe, either in my October wrap-up or my November wrap-up. It is quite a long book, so it's taking me a while to get through, but I am loving it. However, Nevernight I just was not a fan of, and I will probably never continue with that series. Moving into thrillers, there's only one thriller on this list, and honestly, the only reason I'm not continuing the series is because of time constraints and because it is a YA thriller, and I'm not sure if this book really sold me on YA thrillers. So let me know in the comments if you've read this and you think I should continue. And that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. So this book is following Stevie, and Stevie is excellent at solving true crimes, and she's actually so gifted that she gets a scholarship to go to this very prestigious academy. And once she gets there, she becomes obsessed with trying to figure out and solve the murder that took place when this academy first opened. And like I said, I actually did very much enjoy this first book. However, because it was a YA thriller, I felt like a lot of bits of it were very, very predictable, and I could tell it was going to happen. And there are just so many other books out right now that I want to read. However, I don't know that maybe as the series progresses, it does become a little bit more complex and hard to figure out. I'm just not sure. So let me know in the comments if you guys have read Truly Devious and continued on with the series, if it gets any better. Like I said, I really did like Stevie as a character, and I've had the second book. I own the second book. I've owned it for a very long time. I just haven't had the motivation to pick it up. So let me know if that's something I should do. And the last two series on this list are both romance. So the first one is the Bromance Book Club. This is another series that I loved the first one. However, I really just don't have any motivation to continue on with the series. It was good. It just wasn't fantastic. And my TBR is so long, I really just want to read books I think are going to be a 5-star read. So the Bromance Book Club follows this, I believe he's a baseball player, and in the very beginning of the story, he is having a fun time with his wife and finds out that she has been faking the big O the entire time they've been married. So he turns to his friends to figure out what to do, and they suggest reading historical romances in order to woo his wife again. And the story goes from there. It was a very fun time. It was very cute. However, I'm just not interested enough in continuing. I think obviously it's going to follow the rest of the characters in the Bromance Book Club. And yeah, that's another one. Let me know in the comments if you've continued with the series and you like them all as much as the first one. I've seen a lot of negative reviews saying that as the series goes, it kind of gets worse and worse. So that's also why I'm so trepidatious to keep going. But yeah, let me know in the comments. But as of now, I will not be continuing with that series. And next up is more of a spicy romance, and this is by the Queen, Kattee Roberts. So I thought I would love this. However, was not a fan at all. So this is the first book, Abel in the Sabine Valley, which I believe is a mafia romance. And it follows these seven, I think it's like these 7 brothers that end up getting 7 wives from like different mafia houses. And the first one, I got halfway through this and was like, it is not for me. It was, I think in the very beginning of the first one, this guy ends up winning a contest and he wins being married to like the other top mafia's wife and the other top mafia guy for a year, and they do this like hand ceremony, and then it goes from there. I could not get into this book at all. I was not a fan. I don't know. It didn't work for me. And like I said, I have read a lot of other books by Kattee Roberts that I adored. So overall, just didn't love this. However, if you are looking for a very good mafia romance, I would check out the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed. I was so nervous to start it after reading Sabine Valley, the first book, and I love it. It's so good. It follows Irish mob, the Italian mob, Polish mafia, all of these different families as they end up having relationships with each other. It's so, so good. All of the guys are just perfect, and some of the girls have like such feisty personalities, and it's just a really fun time. Highly recommend. The first book, Brutal Prince, I think is my favorite, or is one of my favorites. Definitely check that out. All right, guys, that's it. Those are all the series I will not be continuing with. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, reading is subjective. So if one of these series is one of your absolute favorites, please let me know in the comments if I should continue, if I'm being too hasty, and you think that it actually gets better with time. And I said this already, but I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye.